We're back with breaking news. New details today in the classified documents investigation into President Biden. The White House now telling us the Department of Justice searched the president's home for 13 hours on Friday. They found at least 6 more documents. The White House says they were from President Biden's time as vice president and senator. I want to bring in NBC News White House correspondent Ali Rafa. Ali, what is the latest?
Alicia, really yet another layer in this ongoing investigation, all these layers and drips into really what's become just a very controversial situation with these classified documents being discovered both at the Penn Biden Center and President Biden's Wilmington home. We learned from these new statements just a few minutes ago, one of them from Bob Bauer, President Biden's personal attorney, saying that the Justice Department with Biden's legal team again searched his Wilmington home yesterday, and they found 6 more classified documents, some of them, as you mentioned, stemming back from his days as vice president. They say that this review included things like personally handwritten notes, files, papers, binders, memorabilia, schedules, reminders going back for decades. They say that this search lasted more than 12 hours. And then in a subsequent statement by White House Special Counsel Richard Sauber, he said that both President Biden and the First Lady were not present at the time of that search at President Biden's Wilmington home. Bob Bauer saying in one of these statements, quote, "As noted in the statement we released on January 14th, we have attempted to balance the importance of public transparency where appropriate with the established norms and limitations necessary to protect the investigation's integrity. We will continue to do so throughout the course of our cooperation with the DOJ." Alicia, this is coming exactly a week to the day when we learned of 5 more pages of classified materials that were discovered in that, quote, adjacent room in President Biden's Wilmington home, that adjacent room to the garage where another batch of classified documents had been discovered in the past few weeks and months. Now this is the 4th discovery of this classified material between the Penn Biden Center and that Wilmington home. And reaction to this from the White House has really been minimal at best. You saw President Biden during that tour of California, the storm damage in California on Thursday, finally react to this after days of ignoring shouted questions from reporters. He said that there's no there. He really downplayed the backlash in response to the discoveries of these classified materials. And he said he's working with the DOJ, whatever they need, that he'll supply. But the White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre has really dodged at all opportunities the questions that reporters have posed to her as far as how these documents got there, what the level of classification they fall under, who had access to these documents in the years that they were there. Is there some sort of review going on behind the scenes at the White House to really figure out if there were any national security risks posed by them being publicly accessible? Well, maybe not publicly accessible that as they're in his home, but just accessible to visitors of his home for those years. The White House pointing to the differences in President Biden's case versus former President Trump's case. Of course, former President Trump defying multiple subpoenas to be able to get those classified documents back into the right hands from Mar-a-Lago. But really, this is posing so many more questions than we already had, just adding to this lengthy list of questions we have for this White House. One of them being why the White House didn't, as soon as they knew of these discoveries, more quickly tell the American people about them. And then why was President Biden's personal legal team allowed to continue handling these classified materials, continue searching for these classified materials if they didn't have the security clearance to do so after they found them at the Penn Biden Center and then subsequently searching for them at the president's Wilmington home. So this latest wrinkle, definitely a very big layer to add to all of this, definitely mounting pressure, adding more pressure on this White House to answer this growing list of questions, Alicia.
Ali Rafa bringing us that breaking news.